We're back with the beautiful Samya Soussi. How are you?
Good, great. It's nice out, so.
Yes.
There you go.
Finally got some nice weather. Did you hear about how winter's gonna be bad this year?
I know, I saw that.
Wait, what?
Yes, winter's gonna be bad. Apparently the worst.
Yes.
Okay, I got underground parking, so I'm good.
Well, welcome to the Power Circle.
Thank you.
We're really happy that you made it.
This is a historical moment. Like, this is the first actual circle. Like, this is like, you stepped in the circle.
So Reggie has a thing where, because we're called the Power Circle, our table should always be a circle. And
Absolutely.
every place we've recorded, the table's not a circle. And today he's just super excited because it's an actual circle.
Well, now I feel special. I mean, what is this? Right?
Well, obviously, for our viewers, could you please tell us who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Well, I'm an author. I actually grew up in Ottawa. Recently, released a book. My first book. It's like a novella, so it's like a short version of a novel. And it's called Obsessed. I released it May 31st, 2017. And yeah, it's, I mean, I have a lot of readers that tell me they like the book, so it's great. It makes me feel good. So yeah, that's about it.
How did you develop a passion for writing?
Well, you know, I grew up in a family, my father is a professor, teaches English literature, all kinds of literature actually. So it's I grew up, I remember when I was a kid, he had this small, cute, library. He had so many books. I remember, I knew who Shakespeare was at the age of, 7 or something.
Oh, wow.
So it's at the age of 8, I wrote my first poem, and it was so cool. It was this cute, short little poem, and I remember going to my parents, and I'm like, hey, let me read this to you. You're gonna love it. My sisters as well, and they were like, wow, that's great. 3 years later, I was 11, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot and write a short story. So I did that, and it was imagine, at the age of 11, you're writing a short story, and it was this horror small short story about this girl that sees this ghost. I don't know, ends up being her best friend. I don't know, some drama like that. I remember reading it to my parents, and my father was keep doing what you're doing, and here I am years later, I released my book. It's cool.
Who are your favorite authors and why?
My favorite author would be, well, I have two. First of all would be B.A. Paris. Her book, Behind Closed Doors, is my favorite book. It's so good. I have also Lisa Hall. I read all her books. Funny story is that actually after I released my book, her and I were able to actually, talk and connect. And she followed me on all my social media. We had cool, discussions, a conversation. It's cool. She's a British writer, and it's just cool to have, that connection with your idol, whatever. So yeah, it's cool.
Is she? So she has. Would you say in a sense that she's become kind of a mentor?
Absolutely, absolutely. She writes psychological thrillers. That's what I write too. Okay. So it's I've always read her books, and her books are amazing. And yeah, so we were able to talk, have discussion, and went well. So I'm glad.
So my question for you, Samya, again, right? My question I asked first was, how did you develop your passion for writing? Now it's, how do you go about, I would say, writing a book? What's the process for you? How do you go about it?
So I don't really there are days when I wake up and I'm oh, I feel inspired, I want to write, I want to do this. And there are other days that I'm not feeling it. When I write, I want to give it my all. So I don't, I have an agenda, but I don't go oh, today I'm going to do this, and between this time and this time I'm going to be writing. No, it just comes. There are days that I would not write anything, and then there are other days where I would spend 10 hours a day writing. So it really just comes just like that. I like to give it my all, so it's not I like to feel it. I like to be, because when I was writing my first book, Obsessed, there are parts, it gets sad and it gets emotional, and it's I live with those characters, and that's how I could, bring out my best.
And just about that, for example, the storytelling behind it, right? Because for me, it's let's say you have this situation scenario where they're in a coffee shop or what the case may be. Do you come? No, I don't like the location. For example, I don't know. It could be coffee shop this 10, but you don't like the name. Do you switch it? Do you does it happen constantly?
It does. To be honest with you, you'd be surprised. Usually for places, while I'm writing, I never write the names of places because all of my characters are fictional completely from my own imagining. Like the book is not, like I know some of my readers thought it was like a real story, real events. No, it's not. So yes, I never usually write, even, you'd be surprised, even the cities and the countries, I always leave them blank until, you know, I go through the book and decide, you know, what location, what shall I name this, where should this be? So that's how it goes.
Do you think, for example, like locations, do you like creating, for example, a city? Like, would you like doing that instead of, let's say, yeah, we're in Ottawa, Ontario? Do you think it's more cool, like, is it a better thrill?
Personally, no. I always use like real places. I just never know really where to go. Is it going to be Canada? Is it going to be the U.S.? Obsessed is in the U.S. So it's like, what should I pick? So it goes like that. I mean, I don't like to bring, like, it is fictional, but at the same time, I want to keep it like, you know, like kind of close to the real life. Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Do you ever feel like when you're asleep and you get an idea, do you ever wake up?
Absolutely.
Because I've experienced that in university. I'm not a writer, but I had to write a lot of papers. I studied political sciences, and every time I went to bed and I had to write a paper, it would be 3 a.m. and I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, I have to write this down. Like, this is gonna be my thesis tomorrow. Like, do you ever?
Absolutely. You know, you'd be surprised. I would, like, when I'm writing a book, usually, as I said, like, I live with the characters. It's like, God damn it, they're everywhere I go. I could be sometimes, like, I pull my phone, I have, like, my Word is connected to my laptop from my phone to my laptop. So it's like anything I write goes straight to my laptop. And it's like, I would be, so many times I remember, like, I would take the bus, you know, going to school, and I'm writing on the bus. It's like any idea that pops, I write it down on the spot before I lose it. So absolutely, it's like when you're working on something, it just, you know, you have, like, especially when writing a book, ideas can come and go. Sometimes you're inspired, sometimes you're not. So anytime you have that, like, chance of, like, you know, writing something down, you have an idea, just you have to write it down before you lose it. Yeah.
And what would you say is the story, like, what is the story behind your latest book, Obsessed? Like, I read the first few chapters, like, I went through them. That's all that was available if you don't buy it. Yeah. And so my impression was that it was more of like a romance kind of book. Okay.
So it is actually a story about a married couple. You will see, like, when you get into the book, it ends up being a toxic relationship. Okay. So there's this idea of, like, you know, the book is called Obsessed. So there's an obsession by one of the partners. There are a lot of subjects that, like, you know, the book talks about. Like, there's domestic violence at some point. Okay. There's you know, the idea of, you know, jealousy and between, like, the couple. There's kidnapping. It gets, like, really, really, like, deep, and, you know, it's a thriller kind of. So yeah, it starts off, you know, things are great, but then it goes down. Okay. Yeah.
Samya, my question for you is, I know all the characters in the book, they strongly attach you. Are there times you could feel a day where this character means more, or, like, some characters could be, like, Obsessed, is there a character, or is it all the same playing field, or is there one that, man, my heart?
Absolutely. You know what, there are parts where, like, in the book, like, you notice that, like, the two characters, the partner, which is the husband, that gets crazy at the end. When I would write about, like, there are parts that are so sad when, like, for example, Lisa, the female character in the book, talks about, you know, all the stuff she goes through because of that, and it's like I write it, I'm like, holy, this is so sad, you know, it, like, brings your mood down. I do feel like, I feel sorry for her and for him. Like, I can see both, like, you know, sides of the story. But yeah, absolutely. Like, there's mostly in the first book, you'll feel more sorry for Lisa. So yeah.
Okay.
Where can everyone purchase a copy? And where can anybody purchase a copy of your book? Is there any projects you're currently working on?
Absolutely. So right now, the book is actually internationally, anywhere you go, on different stores. There is an ebook version right now. You can even use your Indigo points if you want to buy it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And then right now it's an ebook version. There is a second part of the story. So at the beginning we were planning on doing, you know, 3 parts. we lowered it to 2. So there is the second part called Eternally Obsessed coming next month. The release date, I know, the release date is a surprise. I didn't want to put, like, it could be the beginning of the month, at the end of the month, let it be a surprise. But so it's going to be the end. We're closing down the story. It's amazing. It's cool. It's beautiful. I can't talk much about it, but absolutely. So there's that coming next month. We're also planning by the end of 2017, we're going to have paperback for both. So all around the world again, so we have to release them, because right now, like, you know, slowly but surely, actually just last week, I received an email from my publishing company. They're like, you know, it's like in Australia, the book in Australia, in this store called Booktopia they have.
Someone commented.
Yeah. And it's like, and they're like, yeah, and it's like on sale. So it is on sale in some places. So we're planning by, could be next month or in 2 months, basically December, releasing paperback for both.
Wow.
Eternally Obsessed and Obsessed. So that's going to be cool. And in 2018, I have something that we're working on too, and it's going to be a big novel. Can't talk much about it, but it's different. God. It's going to be cool.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
That's exciting.
For the writer's process, when you see books that become movies, what's your opinion on that?
I think it's cool. It's actually, definitely, I mean, you know, when I write a book, you know, even when you read a book, there's a story in your head. It's like you imagine it as a movie. That's how it goes, you know? So it is cool. I mean, I think some stories are just amazing, and they're meant to be as books. Like the book I told you about, like Behind Closed Doors, is so amazing. If you guys have the chance to read it, it's amazing. It's cool. It's like one of those books that I read and it's like stuck in my mind. I think that would be great as a movie. But yeah, if the story is good and people liked it, then absolutely, why not? Okay. Yeah.
And how would you feel if some director comes in and says, we want to do a movie about Obsessed? Would you want to have, I would say, a legit say in every little situation going on? Because I feel like sometimes they don't really listen to the writer, the authors. How would you go about that?
I mean, if they want to turn it into a book, absolutely. I mean, sorry, into a movie, absolutely. Go ahead, please. If you know, I mean, the book, it's a novel, and there's not a lot of description. There's not a lot of like talking. You know, it gets straight to the point. So I think it would be easier made as a movie because there's not a lot. It's not like a long story to go through. It's pretty short. Literally, they can take it, turn it into a movie in a heartbeat. So yeah.
Well, definitely, I would like for you to tell us when the paperback is out.
I want to know.
I'm gonna read it online, but there's something about owning the actual book. Like, I have a small bookshelf in my room, and I'm gonna need a bigger one. Because I just love having the book.
Like a book.
You know, when I'm gonna be a parent one day, like I want like a big bookshelf on my books. I can go back to read. My kids can read. Like I love having the book. So
yeah, no, absolutely. That's something we're working on. Like definitely, it's like in the making right now.
That's
so
exciting.
Me, it's even the following, like the Eternally Obsessed. Oh my goodness! Like you're coming back. You're coming back.
Yeah,
cool.
You will be back here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'd love to.
Definitely. Well, do you have any other questions for Samya?
I just want to say, Samya, thank you so much for coming to the Power Circle. Your book, guys, make sure you guys check it out. Samya Soussi, she stepped in the circle, the first ever to step in the actual circle, like the circle. You know what I mean? Her book, Obsessed, is available. Check it out.
Yes, you can see it. The easiest place is Chapters. If you go on the website, it's there. But you can also Google Obsessed by Samya Soussi, and I'm sure you'll find. I found links easily to the book. So
thank you guys so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank
you.